Come on, let's go visit Mark at Taylor's Music.
All right. Hi, Colby and Kau'i here from KCMG Real Estate Advisors. Today we are at Taylor's Music in downtown Westchester with Mark Oppenlander.
Hi, Mark.
Howdy. Hello.
Thank you for your
Hello,
time.
everybody.
So tell us a little bit about where we are right now.
Well, we're in my studio, third floor of Taylor's Music Store.
Many stairs to get up here.
To
the
it's
sphere
good,
of
good
Mark.
for the people to, get the heart racing before they get a guitar lesson.
That's right.
You know?
So you've been here for how long?
1981. So whatever that is, that's 43 years.
You've been teaching for 43 years.
43
in
years
this
here.
studio.
Not in this studio.
Okay.
I started right below, and then
Uh-huh.
moved to that studio, moved to over there, and then over there, and then it came up here about 15 years ago.
Oh,
And this was the what was it? The United Lodge of Theosophists. And we won't go into what
What's
theosophists.
theosophist mean?
Look it up.
That's another
people.
segment.
Look it up. This was like the headquarters in Pennsylvania, something like that.
Okay.
And it had books all over the place. And finally,
Mm.
about 10 years ago, they just took all that stuff out, cleaned the place up. I got to put up all my albums on the walls. It's now mine.
All right. So you've been here at Taylor's then for 43 years.
Mhm.
And you've been teaching for a very long time.
Long time.
So you primarily teach guitar. Do you teach any other instruments?
Where's my ukulele? That's up there. I'm teaching ukulele. I have an attitude about ukulele, I'm gonna tell
I'm
you.
gonna bring you my ukulele. Did I have it? Did
You have a
my-
ukulele?
Yes, I bought a ukulele. When how about you, many?
Well, there you go. Well, I do teach ukulele. I teach bass guitar, all styles of guitar except probably I would say not jazz. I can fake jazz,
Mhm.
but those jazz people out there, they'd be like, no,
That's not a real jazz player. What other instruments are you playing?
I played drums.
Was that your
When
first,
I was a
like,
little boy, I
first-
was a drummer. Ringo Starr got me started.
Mhm.
And the story about the guitar is that I was so into the drums, and my father bought himself a guitar and was playing it one day, and I go, "Oh, that looks cool." And they went, my parents went, "That's what you're gonna do." So I came here to Taylor's at the age of 7 in 1968.
So you took lessons here.
Took lessons here when I was a boy. Yep.
So your history here goes back
All the way-
You were born
before.
here.
I was this is my 30th home,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, this place is, I wouldn't
Very,
be nothing
very
without this
meaningful
place,
to you.
really. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So your students, are they young? Are they older? What levels, skill levels are they? Are they all beginners? What's
All over
your-
the place. All over the place. I just started a 6-year-old this week.
Is that your youngest student?
The youngest I ever taught was 4. That's little
Okay.
kids. It can be a little tough. I also teach senior citizens
Uh-huh.
and everybody in between. College. I mean, what's great is every half hour is different, or hour, depending on how long a student takes the lesson. Everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I'm not burned out. And I've learned over the years that not everybody's going to be whatever great, Andre Segovia or Jimmy Page or whatever. Just have a good time playing music.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're serious about it, I could take you up to college level and get you. I've had numerous bass and guitar students audition for college, and only one did not make it. And I won't
That's
mention that
awesome.
one. All the rest of them made it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I bet that's like this proud moment. For
It's
you.
really nice. It's really nice, and it's interesting because some of those people, it's now been 20 years, 30 years that they're like, they have kids now. Some people that I've taught way back when, I'm teaching their kids,
Okay.
and I'm sure I'm going to get a grandkid at some point. It's going to be happening
3
soon.
generations worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially. So when you're taking on a new student, what's your process to figure out where they are, where they want to be, and just kind of what they're trying to accomplish?
I like to find out a little bit of the history of whomever it is, what kind of music they're interested in. A big thing is, do you want to learn how to read music, or do you want to just do it by ear, or do you want to do both? Do you want to do finger picking? Do you want to do guitar with a plectrum, guitar pick? How many days a week can you practice? Yeah.
I couldn't practice, so I was in piano lessons since I was 4 years old. Well, no, I'm not in lessons anymore, obviously. But I used to get home from school and I couldn't even do my homework until I practiced for 30 minutes, 7 days a week. It was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a punishment. They were like, look, we're investing all this money
Yeah,
in you,
yeah.
you know. And I showed some talent, so that came first. Then it was homework and school.
The thing for me was that when I was a boy, I immediately took to music. It just so happened when I was 3 years old, the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan, and my parents, who didn't like rock music at all, saw the Beatles and went, wow, they're really good. They bought Beatle records. Bingo! That's what I started listening to. And boy, they were like, because I didn't have, you didn't have all the stuff you have now to filter out and do too many things. I had Beatles and music, and it just took over from when I was a kid. And then when I started the guitar lessons, I wasn't really into practicing too much, but luckily my parents treated me like a young adult, and they just reasoned with me. And I got, the hardest part for me was switching from a folk teacher to a classical teacher.
Oh, yeah.
The folk teacher that was here at Taylor's, she was wonderful, showed me Beatles songs, and I was digging it. And then she got married, left me, and this guy came in, this classical guitar dude, who had a master class with Andrew Segovia. My parents were like, oh man, who's Segovia? Gotta take lessons. I'm like, okay, who's Segovia? And I had to learn how to read music. It's brutal. So,
But also,
I remember
it's
when
part of where you are now. Like you're.
well, the thing is that I remember how hard it was to read music, and the way that I was taught, I will not teach people that way because I was miserable. I don't want people to be miserable when they're doing this. First of all, you gotta want to do it. If parents say to me, "Well, I wanted them to learn," I said, "Well, I want this to be a positive experience." The most important thing is that you get a positive thing out of this. There's work involved.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and especially because music is, honestly, music is a commodity these days in this world, and I'm here to keep it alive. And so I want whatever to be just a really good experience. And whether you learn a lot or whether you learn a little, as long as you feel better leaving this room than you came in, or you learned something. Like I showed somebody about, today is Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday. Did you know that?
Totally knew that.
Yeah, 1685, March 21st. And one of my students, I talked to her about Bach for 25 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, how the keyboard was basically revolutionized by that guy. And she was like, wow, we didn't do too much guitar, but I sure learned a lot through that. And I said, I want a free lesson now. No.
Right.
So you mentioned about practice and
Yes.
wanting your students to be honest about what they have to commit to it. So
Yeah.
how about you? How often do you practice?
Well, honestly,
Don't
I
lie.
practice, I try to do 7 days a week. I've been at it for over 50 years. I don't have, like you would think, oh, well, you probably practice 2-3 hours a day. No, I do about an hour.
Okay.
Some of the stuff is like that, but other stuff, I have to, if I don't play it for a month or so, it starts to get a little rusty. So I just work with that. I am actually working on a Bach piece right now that I have on and off tried to play for the last 20 years, and third time's a charm. I'm getting it. I'm starting to get it. It's a challenge. I just like get up in the morning, get a cup of coffee. Luckily, I don't have to go to work in the morning. I go down and practice my guitar. It's just a daily thing. It's like people get up and do yoga or something. I get up and practice my guitar.
Yes, but you've got a lot of albums here. I'm sure Miles Davis, the Beatles, Zappa.
Dixie Dregs.
I was gonna say. I was just saying.
Hey,
about
I'm just saying,
okay?
Dixie Dregs.
Yeah.
The influences.
Yeah, the influences. Tell us a little bit about that, and that little kid or that adult. We've actually taught 2 people that I know personally, adults, who come in and they're like, I want to learn Zeppelin, or I want to learn Nirvana, or I want to learn Blink 182, or what is that like grouping or even decade that gets you really excited to teach people, and what are some of your influences?
Well, I have 3 main influences, and I could say 4, it being Bach's birthday. He would be number 4. Number 1 is the Beatles.
Yeah.
Number 2 are the Dixie Dregs. It's a band from.
Didn't you open for them once?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 1992. Best night of my life, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Shoot for your dreams. Shoot for your dreams. I tried to
Right.
get that gig for years.
Really?
And I kept calling the Chestnut Cabaret. Hi, Greg. It's Mark Oppenlander of One Alternative. I hear the Dixie Dregs are coming to town. And no, we already have an opener. And the 5th time or something, he goes, yes, you got it,
Will
you got
you
it.
stop calling if you reach yes?
You got it. It's only because you've been so persistent. You've got the gig.
How did you feel when that happened?
I was cloud
Over the
nine.
moon.
Cloud nine, and it honestly was the greatest night. If I could relive a night, it would be opening up for the Dixie Dregs. It was
That's awesome.
4 hours of it was a perfect night. It was incredible.
Okay, so 1, 2.
Anyway,
Beatles,
okay,
Dixie
1, 2.
Dregs,
All right,
and-
guys. And Frank Zappa.
Mhm.
Frank Zappa. And each one of these entities brings something different. The Beatles, with their positiveness, their charisma, funny. The Dixie Dregs with their range of music and the fact that I discovered them right before I went to music school, and I used them as a template to get through music school because they went to music school down at University of Miami. And
Where did you go to the music school?
I went to Temple University
University, yeah.
Music School, known as the Esther Boyer Music School at the time, and for classical guitar performance. And see the Dixie Dregs guitar player, Steve Morse, was a classical guitar major at University of Miami, but he played all this really cool fusion music. I was like, that's right up my alley. Yeah, I mean, I teach all kinds of stuff, and I love the diversity of what I do.
So do you have any students or had any students that played professionally or have gone on to play professionally?
I don't think there's anybody that is that would be known nationally. I had a student named CJ Taiwaniak who I don't know what he's doing now, but he was so darn good, and he was in that rock
School of Rock or the...
it's called Rock School movie. Not
Oh,
the
yeah,
School of
yeah,
Rock,
yeah.
not the what's his name? Jack Black?
Black?
Right.
Jack Black? This is Paul Green. Get this, Jack Black.
Paul
Green. Yeah, I found out about the Paul Green School. This little kid, he was about this big, he was as cute as a button. And he and his mom would come up to lessons, and he was really good. I said, there's this Paul Green Music School in Philadelphia. You guys should check this out. And it was like a marriage made in heaven. And they would go into Philadelphia 3-4 times a week. And the Jack Black movie was actually made because of the Paul Green School.
Okay.
And so Paul Green decided, we're going to make our own friggin' movie. And they made this movie, and CJ was like the star because he was this cute little kid who could play, Van Halen. I mean, it was that good.
So tell us about you and playing professionally and your band.
Well, I started a group with oboist Jill Haley back in 1983. Jill and I met at Temple, and
The name of your band?
what is the name of
One
mine?
Alternative.
Alternative. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, that band, One Alternative." I'm like,
Which is not a word.
no,
Also,
it's alternative. I mean, come on, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's 4 syllables. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, One Alternative started with 2 guitars and an oboe. For some reason, we have stayed at it, and it's now oboe, guitar, violin, drums, and bass. And so this would be year number 41.
Oh my gosh. Can you believe that?
Yeah, 41 years. On our first album in 1985, Acoustic Fusion, put up there. And now it's kind of electric acoustic fusion because I throw this in, and electric bass. But it was like the Dixie Dregs on my level, because the Dregs would play all these different styles of music. I wanted to be a Dixie Drag. So that's how One Alternative started.
And so I've noticed in your gigs, which we watched many, you have your steel string, your nylons, you have many guitars, your 12 strings. You're not playing the ukulele on stage.
I am not.
Okay. Or the bass.
No, not on stage.
Yeah,
but
but you
the
play
bass
all
was
these-
my first electric guitar that I
Yeah.
played when I was a kid.
So
yeah.
so you write all the parts. And when I say you write it, you physically hand write it in pen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you do it.
I'm
so.
not a computer guy, even though right now I've scanned all the music and I'm now fixing it. This is ridiculous, but I'm fixing it using an iPen on my iPad. I spend about an hour and a half a day
Cleaning it up.
Yeah, and it takes me to do one page of music takes me about 3 or 4 days. And I'm like one tune right now. I'm on page 24.
And why do you do that?
Because I like doing it. When I was a boy, I loved drawing, and I probably could have been good at art. Loved handwriting, calligraphy, and this is the way I can channel that. And when I do it in handwriting, I know exactly what I want to do.
Yeah. And so you're writing out the drums, the oboe, the
right out all the parts.
violin, the everything. Your guitar, the bass, the other guitar.
Hey, we could put a slide up of one of the, of one of the sheets.
Yeah.
See that drum part right there? Yeah. And Tony was like, "You want me to play all that?" I said, "Yeah, could you?" And he said, "Yeah, I can do that."
He's very talented.
Yes, he is.
So, how many albums does One Alternative have?
I think we have 7 or 8. Yeah. It started in 1985. Last one came out about 5 years ago. As we could do another one, but
Is that
the music
Pendulum album?
Pendulum. No, the last one was Twilight. It's on the wall over there. One of the albums on my wall, people, is my own album. 2 of the albums. There's the other one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, if someone's interested in taking lessons or having their kids come take lessons from you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
To get in touch with Taylor's Music Store, probably the best way online or by phone. Our lessons manager, Zach, then gets the information. He gets in touch with me. I then get in touch with the prospective student, figure out a time, get back to Zach.
Now you'll teach all the guitar, ukulele, any other instruments that you'll teach?
Well, the styles of guitar: classical guitar, folk guitar, rock guitar, a little bit of flamenco guitar, blues, slide, bass guitar, electric bass. I teach music theory too, even though but that's part of the whole thing. Yeah.
That's it.
Ukulele too. Yeah. That's it.
Awesome. So outside, I mean, we covered on this. I think you're like very obviously we know each other for many years, and I know your personality, and you kind of show a lot of it here. What do you like to do for fun?
Do for fun, my life is so. I don't want to say easy. I love what I do so much. What do I do for fun? I love to go out and listen to music.
Yeah.
And I get a chance to do that because of places like Slowhand. The Kennett Brewing Company is another place I love to go to in Kennett. And I'm very fortunate that there are people in this area who are really great musicians, who are really wonderful people. I have hobbies. They're all around music. It's all around the writing of the music. I collect vinyl. I have spent hours.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And playing, and I don't like to fill my time up too much because I go nuts if I get too busy. I like to have I like to breathe.
Yeah. So you have your studio at your house.
Yes.
And then that's kind of where your
it's
your fun, your quiet places.
Yep.
Where all of your vinyl, and then you've got also recording equipment. I know that you like to do that too.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about all the technology is you don't have to have a really nice recording studio. If you have a good ear and you're patient, you can get a really nice sound out of. You can use 2 microphones, and they only have to be like $300 microphones if you have a good ear, I guess I could say. But yeah, I recorded, like our last recording, I recorded all of the instruments, the drums included, using 2 microphones. It took a while. That's what takes up my time, is all of that stuff. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, you're born and raised in this area, so this is where you belong. This is where you
This is my family was from this area for the last 200 years or so, and I'm basically planted here.
Yeah. So would you mind playing a little something for us?
I could do that.
If you want. If you could.
So it's been really great spending time with you here today, Mark. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Really enjoyed getting to know more about you and your lessons and Taylor's. So we're going to let you take us out.
Thanks.